Hello.
Hello. It's you again.
Yes.
Gosh, you always keep showing up on this couch.
I know, and your foot is always getting
I'm
up
sorry.
in my way.
It's like, look, I just wanted them to see my shoes, right?
I think my shoes are cooler.
Oh, yours are way cool today. Can anybody see that? We see. Look at that. Look at that colorful shoe.
There's red on the back. You can't see the red.
No.
Well, today we are coming to you live and talking about really the 5 signs you're ready to hire a career coach. And this is kind of behind the scenes. So we'll be podcasting in a minute as well. But I just wanted to say to everyone joining live beforehand that welcome to the podcast studio.
That's right.
We thought we would start doing these live streams where we're you get to see behind the scenes. We can answer your questions. And really you get a bit of a sneak preview of the episode before it goes live. So when is this one going to go live?
Jacqueline, do you know? When's it going live, this episode?
On December the 7th.
So anyway, sometime in December.
I bet everyone who's listening right now is like got their notepad out or their phone.
Yeah.
And they're like, December 7th, right?
You get it not quite a month ahead of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about the 5 signs you're ready to hire a career coach and 3 signs you're not ready.
Right. I think that one's an important one too.
We thought this topic was kind of boring, maybe because this is what we do every day.
We do it every day.
But the last time we talked about it, there was so much interest.
Yeah.
Especially around like what exactly is coaching and how does it work? That surprised me. I was thinking, Sunday, I think this was a joke the other day, but we were thinking about making a video where it's like, you're like cutting to different scenes and people are in different situations. Like maybe they're like stuck in the mud, literally stuck in the mud.
Okay.
And they like look at us like, can you help? And we're like, nope, just do career coaching. And then it cuts and it like gets more and more serious. And by the end, it's like a marriage that's about to break up. They're like in the middle of their argument and they look over and we're there and they're like, can you help? And we're like,
no,
just career coaching.
just career. I see. It's we got a
Do you remember
category.
this
Yes,
one?
yes.
I was kind of wishing we could like somehow do that right now live.
Ew.
Sometimes doesn't it feel that way though?
Yes.
Like when you're a career coach, you're like your friends kind of look at you at the party, like, can you help me with this?
Yeah, and you're like,
Because
no,
you do that for a
I
living,
know.
right? Like you help people.
Yeah. Well, if you help people in one category, they're like, you can probably help me in every category, right?
I don't know about you. I've had a number of different career and leadership coaches, and it's funny how you can get such different experiences.
Yep.
And the coaching profession is such a wide, broad spectrum. But one of my first ones was a coach who was just very. I'm more of a creative. I'm more of a thinker, like context person, like a dot connector. So I think I enjoy curious conversation where I get inspiration from random things. This guy was very literal. Like he came in and he basically said, okay, tell me your situation. Okay. And then I had never done this before, so I don't know what to say. I'm just kind of trying to explain. I think I'm trying to figure out what's next. I'm thinking about these bigger questions and I just don't even know where to start. And then he literally starts assigning me books to read.
Right.
I mean, I think he gave me 3 books during that first session.
I remember us talking about this.
Oh my gosh, Sunday. I was like, I'm already overwhelmed. I booked this time to figure it out.
Right.
I don't want to go read your books.
Right. So that's an example of a bad fit for you.
That was a bad fit.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a bad coach altogether,
Yes.
but I'm sure there's people who liked that approach. Whereas I had another coach kind of right after that who, it was very good because it was a lot of open. It felt like the first time I was truly being listened to, where I didn't have to rush my thoughts. I could kind of process through, and it wasn't hurried. She wasn't trying to go anywhere.
Right.
And it was also really affirming because she didn't make me feel dumb for those thoughts like I felt about myself. She was actually like, that's really interesting. Or like, oh, that's totally normal. And then helping me think through it in a deeper level.
Yeah, that was a good fit.
Yeah.
That was a good fit.
I really like that. I mean, I attribute a lot of figuring out my way, especially into Greenhouse, through having coaches.
I love that you're talking about this just because it is important for people to know that one experience does not define all experiences.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I've had Some move at too slow of a pace for me, and then some move at a faster pace for me. And I tend to like a little bit of a faster pace with time for reflection, but don't be too slow. So
Yeah.
it just even a personality thing, I've had a better experience with finding the right one that jives with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the different types. We talk a lot internally about ICF is kind of the main governing is, loose term, governing body over the coaching profession. It's not a regulated profession, but it everyone kind of recognizes ICF as the go-to. And it's good in the way they train, I think provides a lot of really good grounding. But then when you get out in the real world, there's kind of the more ICF book, academic approach is a little more of a questioning and helping you self-discover approach.
Yeah.
And then it goes all the way over to the other side, which is more like pure advising, mentoring, consulting. That's like, no, here's how you do it. And I had coaches that were more to that side of it that were really helpful, especially when starting to build a business.
Sure.
And they'd be like, no, I've gone
Right.
before
You
you.
were looking for a business, how to build your business coach.
Give me advice. Tell me what worked and didn't. Tell me where
That's
I'm
really interesting. Yeah.
where I'm making a bad decision or going in a bad direction. So I've enjoyed coaches on both sides of it too. So anyway, we're going to walk through the 5 signs that you might be ready to hire a coach or not. So you can maybe figure out if that's the right step for you in the new year, or maybe you're just interested in it in general. Maybe you are a coach. But if you actually are someone thinking about it and wanting to try out coaching, then I think our membership is kind of the perfect place, because you can either just get one session or you can have continuous sessions as long as you need it. But you get the chance to kind of take an assessment, meet with a coach, and hear where you should start, and then decide, how to jump into it. So we have that available if you're curious. And if you're already a member and you just want to, if you're realizing like, I have good intentions, but I'm not actually taking the steps, or I keep getting stuck or procrastinating, usually that structure and accountability of one-on-one coaching is kind of what helps you get over the hump. That's where we can guarantee the success. Like you will achieve what you're after if you do that. But sometimes when you're going at it on your own, it's tough. So really, I think what makes this topic more and more interesting to me is this is one of the fastest growing sectors in the world right now, like career and leadership coaching.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. But basically, like business coaching specifically is a $14 billion business now.
Wow.
And career coaching / training is a $15 billion sector. It's kind of, I think that's surprising to most people, because a lot of people still don't know what it is or that it exists. So I thought, it'd be worth talking about it, because jobs are more and more ambiguous now. It's like not as clear cut. Like, okay, here's how to do your job and do these steps the rest of your life until you retire.
Right.
No, it's very much like job descriptions. You know how most people say, I don't even know what that job description means.
Yeah.
Like jobs are more white space now, and you have to create your role. You have to define your goals. You have to come up with how to do the work. And people who are successful are people who do that. So I think coaching is one of the tools that's now going to be normalized. Like if everything is so white space, how do you figure it out? There's no manual. Well, coaching is one of those tools that helps you like figure things out, go from nothing to something. Whereas in the past, things were more defined. And so I think coaching wasn't needed as much. So I don't know. Those are just some of my thoughts on why this topic might be so relevant. But apparently it is.
Yeah, apparently it is.
All right. Should we dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in. I want to start with the if they're not ready ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with the first one.
Sure.
So signs you might not be ready for coaching would be that you don't have the time to invest in the process.
Yeah.
I mean, that clearly just says what it is. But just to break down just a little bit, we've had some people come to us for a first session and realize what it's going to actually take and actually say, I'm going to pause for a minute, because I actually don't think I have the bandwidth or the time, because it does take a little bit of time. Sometimes there's a little bit of homework. And by the way, totally, there's no right or wrong here. You should actually step into it when you do have the time to invest. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that can be a realistic reason not to do it, because if you can't invest the time, you won't be able to take the steps. If you can't take the steps, you're going to be frustrated with the results.
Yeah.
However, I would push back on that person first and say, But let's think about this first. Like everyone's too busy. So that's not just on the surface a good enough excuse.
Very true.
I think first you got to look at like, are you truly too busy to make the space? Because half the value of coaching to begin with is that it forces the space for you.
It does force the space.
Like it puts it on your calendar and it puts a person on your calendar you're going to show up to.
Yep.
So that you do make the space. And I find that's why I don't know, 50% of the value to people is that it forces them to do it. So maybe ask yourself that question too. Like, is it truly not a good time? Or would coaching actually be the thing that helps you make the space that you probably can make? Another reason it might not be good for you right now is if you're not willing to learn.
I'm not sure it'll ever be good for you if you're not willing to learn, actually. And I bet people who aren't willing to learn probably don't even think about having coaching.
Oh my gosh. Have you coached someone like this before?
Yes. And the situations that are the toughest for us is that when we have companies who give us leaders, that they're like, we have handpicked these leaders for you. Well, just because you've handpicked these leaders doesn't mean necessarily that all of them are completely bought in. When you choose it yourself, you're very bought in. When someone else chooses it for you, sometimes there can be a little bit of a closeness. The goal is that they open, but sometimes people they're not bought in, and you can feel that resistance.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. And I've coached two specific people in mind who are just not learners in their personality. And I don't know what all's going on there. Maybe it's just how they're wired. I don't know. But they're just not curious at all. They have no interest in like pondering anything. And so the coaching just fell very flat. It was like, okay, I don't think this is right for you at all because you just have no desire to learn or be curious. And that's kind of the basis of coaching to begin with. And if you just need a how-to guide about something, like, then go find that. I think that would be a better fit. But yeah, it was a little awkward at first.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the third reason that coaching is not for you or at this time is that you just want a set of predefined answers. I guess I just kind of talked about that, but I think the unique thing about coaching is that you're kind of in an exploratory mode. Like the whole point of it is to gain new awareness about yourself, your situation, others around you. And so if you just need like a how-to guide, just go get a how-to guide. I don't think coaching's the best thing.
Because coaching is going deeper than the how-to guide. We might have a teaching point but we're definitely going to go further, not just your first response or not just your first thought there. And sometimes people are like, just tell me what to do with my life. And we're not going to do that. We're going to let you discover what you want to do with your life through a series of good questions and some teaching. Yeah.
Okay. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does.
And if you have questions on that one, let us know. So diving into the signs that you are ready for coaching.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of bucket into some groups here. So the first one is that you're just feeling stuck and you need a change.
Yeah, just sit there for a minute because the word stuck comes up, I think, is the most common word.
The most frequent, yeah.
It's everyone just, if I'm like, what brought you here? They're in some capacity, they feel stuck and they don't know how to move forward.
I don't think that was a word before, right? Like, is that ever going to go away? I feel like someone discovered and they're like, this fits, this works.
Yes. I feel like someone's probably going to write another book.
Yeah.
With a new word for stuck. We need to think of that first.
Oh my gosh. All right. So one of the things under this category, stuck and need a change, is that you're like totally drowning in your calendar. And so, or you're like waiting to have all your stuff together before you move into the change.
Yeah.
And that is actually a sign that you are ready for coaching. Because again, it is the thing that kind of puts time on your calendar, creates structure and accountability for you to just start moving forward, just start taking steps.
People come see us who just want to learn how to manage their calendars. Like that's a topic. And by the way, it's not a one session either. It takes some time to reevaluate and you take the control back of your calendar that you feel like everyone is taking from you.
Yeah.
That's a whole topic.
Yeah. And then the other part of that with waiting till you have your act together, it's like, no, this is the point of coaching. And that's why I always share with people, it's a non-judgmental process. Like I'm not sitting here judging you like, oh man, you're really a mess, Sunday. It's like, No, that's the whole point of coaching, is to take things that are challenging, struggles, stuck points, and work through them. So don't be embarrassed, or don't wait till you have it together. Enter coaching in order to kind of move forward. So that one, I think, is almost ironic how often it comes up. Another piece of this is that you're feeling stuck, but you actually don't know what you want to do. You don't know what you want to do next. Probably the second most common one is, okay, but if I don't know what I want to do, then where do I even start?
Yep.
I think it's really normal for adults to not really know what you want to be when you grow up, especially because we were always given like a rubric and a map for life until adulthood. And then it's just like, all right, you're on your own.
Yep.
So
I think also seasons of life make people revisit this question a lot. That I loved what I was doing for a season, but now I'm not. Why have I learned everything I feel I can learn in that area? And so they just don't know what to pivot to, and they can't identify what parts are working, what parts are not working. And sometimes that's the part, and we kind of help, I don't know, I guess bring it together for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes because they're just circling.
Yeah. I just, someone I've been working with just kind of had their breakthrough this week and figured out their thing and their next step. And it was really exciting because, again, very successful, seasoned person is in his career and done lots of great stuff, and it's not wasted.
Yeah.
But also, like, he's always kind of followed what everyone else wanted him to do. And it was like, all right, what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
And we put together that vision, and it was really energizing to him. Like, he actually wanted a few different things going on.
Yep.
And then was able to like put that in place because he could go out there and into conversations saying, this is what I'm looking for.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's some of that just intentionality, but it does take a process sometimes.
Yep.
I think that's where Greenhouse helps the most. Like, here's an actual process, step by step, to figure out what
Instead
you
of
want.
just saying, so what do you want to do next?
So what do you want? I don't know.
And sitting there awkwardly while they say, I have no clue. Yeah. I love that we have a process to get people to think differently from different angles.
Yeah. All right. So another sign you could be ready for coaching in terms of this feeling stuck or needing a change is if you're really unhappy at work, you're dreading Mondays, it's kind of the typical stuck feelings, but you don't even know where to start or what your options are, because that's where you just get frozen. Like, again, this is an abnormal, this is something we don't have a map to. No one's told us what to do. So you just don't even know where to start. You don't know what your options are. I guess I hear that one more than I thought. Like,
yeah. Well, it's very similar to point number 2 that we just made, that you don't even know what you're feeling, what you want to do, but you also don't even know where to start. I think the thing that really stands out to me in this point too is if you are consistently having that Monday dread over and over, it's not just a bad week or and it's not just the fact that we have to work and we're not millionaires, because everyone usually has to work, but that deep sense of dread feels like you sit in that for a minute.
Yeah, if it's been there for a while.
Long time. It might be time to explore, why am I feeling this dread every Monday? And the interesting thing is it could be the smallest shift.
Right. It could be you don't even have to make a job change at all, but your role, maybe the role isn't right. Maybe something about the circumstances aren't right. We were sharing the other day about how maybe it's just like change how you set up Mondays.
Yep. Just how you set up Mondays.
Can be a thing.
Yep.
The one I'm big on that I'm really passionate about is I tend to coach a lot of people. I think even just as a company, we attract a lot of people who don't fit a typical box on the org chart. So if you are a doctor, a lawyer, a data analyst, a project manager, like, there's obvious jobs for you anywhere all the time. But there are tons of other people. My research on it suggests 82% of the workforce does not have a box on the org chart. And so they graduate college. Like, one of my best friends, straight A student at a top university, worked at Starbucks for 5 years after college because she had like a history degree and a minor in, I don't know, it was something in the liberal arts. And it was just like, where do I go with this? What do I do?
Yeah.
There wasn't a defined path. And then you get generalists and creatives and entrepreneurs. And now you're talking even more layers of like, there's no clear box for you.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to create your own box on the org chart. That's my thought on it. Like, you got to create your own path. And that's what we teach people how to do. But that's a little trickier. It's not laid out for you as clear cut as everyone else. I always feel this at dinner parties because a lot of people in my friend groups, like, they're in the clear boxes and I'm the weirdo. And I'm like, well, you know, it would have been nice if it was that clear for me. And I tried that, actually. I tried the engineering path. That's a clear one.
That was a clear one.
And that's why I felt stuck, because I'm like, I don't fit in this.
Yeah.
But that meant I have to create my own path, so then people don't kind of understand as much. It's not the clear, like, oh, everyone knows what a teacher is and a doctor is because they go visit them. But like, no one understands what a leadership coach is.
Nope. The next one is one that is one of my favorite topics, which is some people are really struggling with consistent imposter syndrome and a lack of confidence in their work. And it's showing up. It might even be showing up or not showing up. It's just something that they're hiding inside of them, and they really want to push through it. They just keep looping, though, that someone's going to discover any day that I shouldn't be here. Someone's going to anyway. I feel like a lot of people come to coaching to just unpack that and move past it and learn actually how to tangibly step into confidence.
Yeah.
That's a big one for a stuck place.
Right.
I'm stuck in imposter syndrome and a lack of confidence.
And sometimes you don't even know what's going on with that in you. You don't even know what it is. Yeah. This can be true for those people or a whole other bucket, but it's like, I feel like it's too late for me. I'm too far along in my career, or I'm scared to venture from what's been known and safe. And we could talk for hours about those. I'll just say, like, they're not true. Yeah. They're just not true. We've coached so many people who are in that place.
Yep.
And those are limiting beliefs that just actually aren't true. So I think the last one is the last stuck place is like the burnout, or maybe there's just like a level of overwhelm or lower grade burnout. And those are real too. And there's a lot of that going on.
There is. I think the stuck point there is that they're willing to admit that they're overwhelmed, but they honestly they cannot for the life of them figure out what to do about it.
Yeah.
And they just keep, and when you're burnt out, by the way, it's hard to think.
Yeah.
So working with a coach will help have the thinking thought partnership together.
Right.
To help you figure out how to step out of that burnout.
Yeah. I don't know about you. For me, so much of it is just, it's comforting and helpful to have that person, like, they're waiting for me to get on the call and they're going to guide me.
They're going to guide me.
I don't know. That's
what I like about coaching.
Okay. So, we just worked on our episode for goal setting. That's going to happen a little later, but the next reason you might be ready for coaching is that you have a goal and you want to go after it.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, what coaching's truly designed for. It's less about solving problems, and it's actually designed more for achieving something you want to go after, or like moving forward. So, but of course, like, most people pay to solve problems. So this is actually the less frequent one in terms of actual coaching engagements. But you have a dream and you want to go after it. Like, this is my favorite bucket: an entrepreneur, somebody who's like in a job but has a dream of something they want to do on their own, and they want to go after it. They want to bring that goal to life. That is my favorite, because that's a lot of my story. That's what I know how to, like, really lead people into it. And I think that one's less utilized, though, because when you're someone who's that motivated and eager, you just think you can go after it yourself. I've learned time and time again, I keep always trying to do it myself, and it's so much faster and better to have a coach in that space.
This one's probably really irrelevant to me because I need accountability for structure. So the next one is, you know what to do, but structure and accountability to make it happen.
Yeah.
People will pay for a coach to make sure that they're getting done the things that they're needing, like knowing that we're there and we say, how did last week go? Last week you said you were going to do this. How did it go? They're like, some of my clients will be like, I did it 24 hours before our session.
Yeah.
Because I was like, she's going to ask me.
And they feel bad about that, but no, it's actually a win. Because that's why you signed up for this.
Right.
It'll force you.
Yeah. And by the way, if you ever have like a bad week, there's also no pressure. We don't like shame you if you didn't get it done, but most of the time they're they're just loving that check-in. I have some people who actually just have little 30-minute spots on my calendar for just that. It's like just a quick touch point. Here's where I am, what should my next one be?
Yeah.
Simply that.
Yeah. Well, similar, but a little different is you're feeling scattered and disorganized with that goal or that. So really it's all about rhythms and consistency. And I think the problem with productivity tools and approaches is you're still relying on yourself and your own emotional state every day.
Yeah.
We all know we go up and down, busyness, things happen. And so again, the coaching kind of gives you that like more structured accountability to stick with it.
Well, and the next one I did forever. I really started my coaching as a job search coach. That was really my first category outside of, the whole communications bucket. Actually, never mind. I take that back. That was just a category in my life.
Okay.
I feel like I've been coaching. Never mind. We're just going to shut up. Trying to land a new job is a definite category that I have done some deep work on. How's that?
Yes.
Really helped a lot of people through the highs and the lows of the job search, because you will just stare at the wall if you, actually that's not true. Some people can do it.
Yeah.
And some people I think who are more in those cookie cutter spots can move more quickly.
Yep.
The ones that are more in those general places struggle a little bit more. So finding a new job is a great time to have a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I see with that group is maybe they haven't had to search for a job in a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they're worried about what's the resume game look like these days? Or what am I supposed to do? Are cover letters still the thing? Where do you go online? They just don't know what's the current norms. And which is a great question because it does change. But then that helps to have a coach who knows what's relevant right now, what's working and not, but also to kind of help them cut through all the clutter. Because if you go online, you just start searching. Yeah. Sometimes that makes the problem worse. Like you can get everything, all the answers are out there for free.
You really can.
But it's overwhelming to sift through it all and know what's right. Like that's something you do well.
Right for you.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah. Like in our course, in our membership, that's the whole premise of what you do. You cut through the clutter. And you're like, these are the things that matter the most.
Yeah.
In fact, the resume is not the place to start. No. So that kind of stuff.
So that really encompassed point number 2, which is that we're overwhelmed in our job search. So I'm just going to slide that. We got that one. The last one is sometimes people will use a coach when they've started a new job as well, because there's a whole new culture that, especially if they've left one company culture and moved to another, and you want to start well.
Yeah.
So you can read the book the first 90 days. You can do that. Sometimes people are like, could you just kind of coach me through even the first 3 months as I transition to make sure that I am, sometimes I feel like it's a filter too. They're just like, here's what I'm experiencing, perspective as well. So people hire us for that sometimes too.
Especially because like the book, First 90 Days, great book, great resource that kind of says, here's the things you need to focus on or not miss in that first early stage to set yourself up for success, to start strong. Problem is, and I think that's a great resource, but it's so generic. The problem is for each individual, you are going to have your own little habits, limiting beliefs, quirks that are the things that trip you up.
Yep.
And that's where the coaching always shines. Like this happened yesterday with one of my clients, and we talked about, so he's just stepping into a new gig, and we just talked through like, what is going to trip you up? Like, what do you know about yourself when you're starting something new? And it took a little while to get there. And sure enough, he found it. He was like, well, what I always do is I like rush too much to try and improve myself. And so then I step on toes and I like make a bad reputation off the start. Okay. So then from there, we just built a whole very simple but clear action plan of like how to avoid that and what to do instead. I think that's like, it's all referencing stuff from like the first 90 days framework, but contextualizing it to you, your personality. And that's where I think coaching really shines.
Sorry about that cough.
I don't forgive you.
I know. I can tell. No, you have to cover number 4 because that's your passion.
Okay. My passion, number 4, reason to get coaching is you want to build a business, but you're not sure where to focus first.
Yeah.
Yep, been there. I feel like I continue to be there over and over. And coaching's perfect because there really are so many things that you want to do. If you're entrepreneurial, you probably have lots of ideas, but also you pay attention to all this stuff out there that tells you what you should be doing. I mean, the number of emails I get in my inbox every day that's like, try this hack, these 3 steps. And it's like, okay, all the things you should do, but what really matters for me?
Yeah.
Again, coach helps you customize to you.
To you.
So I think that's
Yep. We
a
love that
really,
one.
really good place for coaching.
And then I think this is our last one, right? I think so. Yeah. This one's a very, very popular one, especially after the pandemic. It's just that you want to grow as a people leader. You want to be a great leader. A lot of people are struggling with being a leader and dealing with retention, keeping people. And you also really want to develop a healthy team culture, and you don't know how. Because people are talking about healthy culture more than they've ever talked before. Like my grandparents were not talking about healthy culture. Neither were my parents.
Yeah.
But now it's what matters. People want to know, what are you going to do in your company that gives me a place to grow? So if you're a leader, that's overwhelming at first. So we can help guide you through the steps on how to begin that process.
And what fascinates me about this is, again, contextualizing. It's always in the nuance thing. So like, I think a lot of people hear culture, leadership, blah, blah, and it just like goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
As it does for me, because it's so generic, it doesn't hit on any pain points I'm dealing with. Well, yesterday I was talking to a leader of a really fast growing company who said the same thing you just did. Like, I think we need to like coach our leaders and our managers. And I think I need some coaching, CEO. And then as we dug into that, what became clear was everyone's like very green. So there's a lot they don't know. They're making a lot of mistakes, or there's just a lot of like dysfunctional things, like people don't want to show up or work hard.
Yeah.
But no one's addressing it. So all these things just build and build and build the pressure, right? And you can just feel it for him. Like at some point, the pressure relief valve is going to blow off, and there's going to be major problems. And he admitted readily, like, good for him. He's like, I'll be honest, we just don't do anything with feedback. I don't know how to give it, receive it. No one else.
No, everyone's walking around terrified of feedback.
Terrified.
Yeah.
And that's so normal.
Yeah.
That is so normal.
And so this is where we step into a little bit more of a consultant role. Sometimes is that we'll actually help you give you a framework for feedback, give you some, and maybe different ones for your personality, different ways to try to step into it in a healthy, normal way.
Yeah. And then bring alongside the coaching of, okay, so for you specifically, where do you get hung up?
That's right.
You know, and this one person was like, she just gets annoyed because she tends to be a doer, and she's like, you just figure it out for yourself. So she doesn't want to take the time to kind of like work through the thing with the person. And everyone's got their own little unique hang up. And so the coaching helps in that spot. But yeah, I guess my point is there's always like a very, with this leadership bucket, there's so many aspects to growing as a leader.
Yeah.
So there's always like some nuanced or specific areas where you need to grow, you want to grow, or organizationally, what the thing is. So I think that's probably the most popular reason that we get for coaching.
So if any of those things that we mentioned just spurred on anything, one thing, if you're a part of the membership, is that you can hop on and just have a bit of a discovery call to find out if any of these are resonating with you, and we'll help create a path for you to step into using a coach.
Yeah. So if you're interested, if you're already in the membership, all you need to do is go to the side tab and click on the coaching, or on our website, greenhousecoaching.co/membership. There's the button to book a one-off coaching call. If you're not already a member at Greenhouse, you can just, same thing. The process is there on the website. You join and take the assessment. Then you get to talk to the coach and go over that assessment, so you see where you want to focus, what your goals are, where to start. So it kind of simplifies it all. Instead of feeling like this overwhelming thing and you don't know where to start, we just tell you, like, here's where to start, and you can try it out and get unstuck. I mean, the cool thing is we see people every day finding more fulfillment in their career, like actually feeling freed up and moving forward, and also like stepping more into their sweet spot. And that really is possible. Like, that's very much possible. But of course, it's hard on your own. And so that's where coaching helps so much. So I'd encourage you to step into that if you're in that place, if any of these things struck a chord with you, or if you want to kind of start fresh in the new year.